why choose you? Why are they going to choose you if you don't stand for anything, if you don't represent anything?
Yeah.
If you're just like a generic person off the street that has 3 different options of how to sell and how to market. I would rather be known for something and stand for something and have a business model that works than be wishy-washy and all over the place.
What do you think is the correct way, and at what time should an agent start going, oh, I should put someone on, and what type of person should they get, do you think, in the beginning?
The answer is that always put them on before you think you really need them and probably even before you can afford them. We treat every single person like they're a rock star. Okay. Now, what does that mean? It just means that you understand that they're important, what they're doing is really important, and we treat them with respect and courtesy and high level of service.
Agents, welcome to the Get Keen podcast, your #1 destination for learning how to get the most out of your real estate career. I'm Dan Lee, founder of Plum Property, one of Queensland's largest independent real estate offices, and Plum Partners, where we've helped dozens of agents create, run and grow their very own agencies. On Get Keen, I chat to high-performing agents, principals, and agency owners, so you have the tools, strategies, and insights to grow your business and live the best life for yourself and your family. Now let's get keen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Get Keen. You're here, you're listening because you want to improve where you're at in your real estate business as an agent, as a business owner, and I interview only the best guests that can provide you with the knowledge, the experience, and, you know, just like help give you a better pathway to success because they've done it themselves. And today I've got one of Brisbane's best agents on the show with me. He works for Place Estate Agents, and that business, that company, many offices, lots of talent. Shane Hicks is with me, and Shane is the number 3 salesperson in the Place business. He is a REB top 50 agent in Queensland and has been since 22 to 25, so 4 years in a row in the top 50 agents in Queensland. And in the last 12 months alone, Shane and his team have sold 76 properties at an average price of $1.6 million. That's only the ones that show on realestate.com too. There's probably a few of extra off-market ones there, but a real talent, a man with plenty of experience. So Shane, thanks so much for being here and sharing some of your wisdom with our audience.
Thanks, Dan. Great to be here.
Yeah, it is great to have you. We've been trying to catch each other for about 3 months, my bad. I keep telling you at the last minute. I need to give a guy like you, who's probably doing 3 listing appointments a day, I need to give at least 3 weeks notice.
A better notice, That's great. Yeah, I can always fit it in if I've got notice.
I watched a video of yours and you said you've been in the industry for 30 years.
I think I said in that one I got 30 years experience in negotiating.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm like the accidental real estate agent. I came in after what I call my midlife correction.
Okay.
So I walked in the door at after a 25-year career in retail and general management type roles across up and down the coast of Australia and New Zealand, and walked into Place at the age of 43.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That is a late starter.
Yeah.
Cool. So 43. Well, I'm not going to guess how old you are because that's rude, right? But let's just say you've had 15 years experience, right?
Okay.
How's it changed since you've been in that 15 years?
Yeah. I remember walking in thinking, well, after all I'd done in life, how hard could this be?
Yeah.
I really did. And then the first year, of course, is incredibly hard. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, or what experience you've had. You have to be prepared for a year from hell. So pushed my way through that and then very much started to get some momentum in my second year and, but it was very, very much, list, sell, not much long-term work at that early stage. So it was very much sort of hand-to-mouth stuff for the first couple of years, but got through it. And
tell me about the year from hell for you, because everyone needs to hear it.
Yeah. Just like most people that come into the industry, I just underestimated just how hard it is to get started. I don't know, you can cut this out if it need be, but I used to have the days I call what the fuck am I doing here days, where I'd find myself, instead of being in the corporate world, I was out letterbox dropping and or door knocking or cold calling thinking, wow, what am I doing here? But you just need to get some traction. Some traction. The greatest way to get a listing is to get a listing. And that was what the management team just kept saying over and over again, and it was so true. Like rather than throw too much money at advertising and billboards and bus stops in your early stages, it's just not the right time. You haven't got a brand to build, so you just need to get some cut through, and the way to do that is literally land a listing and work the hell out of that.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's so true. Like agents trying to do too much advertising in the beginning. They've got nothing to advertise.
Correct.
Right?
You've got to become a brand.
Yeah, you have to
become a brand in your own market before you can go and spend money on your brand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just throwing
money at the wall, right?
Absolutely.
So what did you really focus on? What was your sort of power prospecting?
Okay. So back then, Form 6s, whatever they were called then, were
22A.
22A went for 60 days, not 90.
Yes, yeah.
So, and the days on market were quite high, and because we were 2012, and then I did focus on those expired listings. I just started dropping things in, giving them a call.
Okay.
Just being there, just saying, I'm in the market. So all of a sudden, I was very visible with a few of those, and I was lucky enough as they expired to work with those sellers. And I'm sure you've seen it over and over. Often the second agent gets the
absolutely.
cheese.
All the hard work's done by the first agent, and the second agent gets it priced right and sells it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sort of coming into a market where expired listings are going to be more and more available. As we came through that COVID boom, 2020, 2021, even into 2022, there weren't really many opportunities for expired listings, and a lot of agents came into this market. They've just been able to get some listings, they sell them, and they never experience properties not selling.
Yeah.
And then also because of that, they never do much of that prospecting of trying to get expired listings. So that was your main thing.
Just to get started, and then I'd prospect all around that. I'd make sure I spoke to everybody in the 4 streets around, each and every one prospected, and literally always work on getting a listing off that listing.
Yeah, sure.
So growing that. There was that, and I'd also been very involved with the kids' school at St Thomas's of Camp Hill, run the local fete. So I had a lot of local connections in Camp Hill. So letting them know that I was in the business and they're working in the area was also a big heads up start for me.
Do you still do a lot of the the expired listing work with your team?
Not really, no.
No? Okay. But that's a good way for someone to start, do you reckon?
Look, it is. Yes, it is. It's definitely one of the avenues to look at. Again, the market is probably not as tough as it was there, and as you've said, there's not as many expired listings. Plus, the Form 6s go for 90 days. So, but it's still, it's one of the avenues there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did you always so? How long did it take you to make sort of good money to say, I think I'm making it?
Yeah, probably year 3. I started to, and I was doing okay. And at that stage, I thought, well, okay, and because I'd run bigger businesses before, I thought, like, how do we scale this up? And the first, I suppose, what I see a lot of people still do, the temptation is to put on another co-agent with you. So literally then you have 2 agents walking around doing what one agent should be doing. That just doesn't work. So, but quickly I realised that the best way to get the business going was to get the behind the scenes working. And as much as we have a very good back of house service, I then employed a full-time admin person with me. And that was a game changer. Yeah, because I could now be on the road all the time. She was running my diary. She's running my doing all making sure all the marketing was happening on time, communicating with the sellers. So my time was freed up, and all of a sudden it was like, wow, I can really be out in the market. Because I just believe that if you need listings, just drive around your patch. Something happens.
Yeah.
I was out yesterday and looking at a house we're getting painted, and a guy called me in from across the road. I said, yeah, come and have a look at my house. Just if you're in the market, things happen. If you're in the office, you're waiting for things to happen.
Yeah, okay, cool. And you've got like a team now of, what, 3 or 4?
Yeah, actually there's 6 of us in total.
Wow.
So we have 2 full-time admin.
Yeah.
And my theory in life is the better salespeople are, the worse they are at admin. So we're very good salespeople, and they're very good at admin, and they keep us very organised. Then I have myself, and Antonio has been with me for 7 years as my co-agent. But again, we don't follow each other around. We have very set duties.
Yeah.
And my main role is listing, and his main role is selling. And by that, I still go to all the open homes and everything like that. But he's there. He does the follow-up, does the private inspections, gets them anything they need. Any information they need during the week, and then 2 other what we call 3.0 agents. So they're growing agents in the team that we help support in neighbouring suburbs around.
Okay, and they do a lot of the prospecting.
They prospect very much harder.
Yeah.
A lot of our business in our core market comes to us directly.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Not at all. Of course, it's not easy, but when you hold number 1 position in the suburb, you do get the call-ins.
Sure. So you've scaled up to 6 people. A lot of agents struggle with that idea of scaling up, and it's sort of a point where they kind of stop growing, right?
Yeah.
And they might get 1 person on their team at max, or they may never even get that person. What do you think is the correct way, and at what time should an agent start going, I should put someone on, and what type of person should they get, do you think, in the beginning?
Yeah. Okay. The answer is that always put them on before you think you really need them, and probably even before you can afford them. It's like changing gears in a car. Like you can drive along in first gear and rev the hell out of it, or you can, get up to second and third and really start getting some momentum going. So the admin person, to me, it's a no-brainer. That is the person to put on first, because you as a salesperson want to get away from doing all of that. And even though your office might provide that, and hopefully I'm not saying anything that contradicts what you guys do, but even if your office provides that, that's all well and good. But when you have a person 100% working for you, running your diary, just organising everything, you're really freed up to do a lot of what salespeople should do, which is list and sell real estate. So the first person is admin, and then as quickly as you can, a co-agent, so that you can provide world-class open homes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe you can do good open homes on your own. You need someone really good on the front door, and with all due respects, like not just a 17-year-old kid, someone who they are the first impression for you and your brand, and they're representing the home. Even before they see me, they see Antonio at the front door. So that's their first impression of the whole brand. And they're the 3 key people in my mind: the admin, sales co-agent, and the agent themselves. And we came through all the way even through COVID with that structure and did very well with that. But again, we were just starting to spin a bit out of control. We just needed to add a couple of extra.
How much were you doing when you decided I really need to get someone on?
For the first time, probably just 250,000.
How many deals?
GCI. At that stage, that's probably only 13 or 14
deals. Yeah, so you could probably have taken on more, but you leveraged up early.
I leveraged. So we went from there, we doubled, like first year with the admin.
Yeah.
And then, basically then 50% again by putting a co-agent on, then 50% again. So we did, and on that 3-person structure, we got to, I think we did about 1.5 million in GCI. But again, we were we were stretched at open homes, we were stretched doing things. So there's a certain level you get to where you just have to have some extra resources.
And how do you reward your team?
So everybody is slightly different, but all incentivized. So I think it's very important that the admin team feel part of it. So they are paid their base, but they are on quite a healthy bonus for every single Form 6 that comes through the team.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the reason they get paid on the Form 6 rather than the sale is because I just think the admin people do a lot of work up to get it there, and then they may waiting for the it's too long for them to wait.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily, and their control of the process is mainly getting it to there. So they get paid straight away. The week the Form 6 comes through, bang, extra bonus. And I see how excited they are when we list 6 properties in a week and they get a good size bonus. And then My co-agent, and again, I think it's important. Again, Antonio's been with me 7 years. We've never had one single argument about a fee or a commission. There's a certain a base and then a percentage on every single deal, regardless of how much work he's put into it or I've put into it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I may sell something totally off market. He hasn't even looked at it, doesn't see. He still gets the same. Other times he's done a lot of work with the buyers, and I've really probably done 80% of the work. He gets the same.
Yeah.
So it all works out in the end.
So it all works out.
And it works. Then with the what we call the 3.0 agents, so the prospecting agents, again, they're provided a base. They're provided the back end support through my team, and a split of the commission. So it's a great way for them to grow in the business and get themselves up and running. And sooner or later, they'll either grow within the team or be their own agents, and I'm okay either way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not every agent these days. The teams are becoming more prominent, aren't they?
Yeah.
And there's room for young agents to become an agent, co-agent on a team and earn a great income. Right. That's sort of where real estate's headed, and it's going to be more and more like that as we go.
It is. It is. I look back at we talked about when I started. We really haven't had many people come in on their own outside of a team and successfully start since then. Now it's and it did change a lot. The rankings on realestate.com domain have really altered the playing field.
Yeah. Profile means so much, and it's so easily accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't so much when we started.
Correct.
So on your video I watched, back to your video.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have some principles you follow, which are called the Rockstar principles of customer service.
That's correct.
Can you tell us about those?
Yeah. So the Rockstar principles are just about meaning that we treat every single person like they're a rock star.
Okay.
Now, what does that mean? It just means that you understand that they're important, what they're doing is really important, and we treat them with respect and courtesy and high level of service. Now, where that becomes, so I've probably always had that mentality, particularly coming from a retail background. I wanted to instill that in the whole team. So now, for instance, I'll give you an example of how it works. I can hear one of the team getting really frustrated or annoyed at a buyer or a seller for some reason. Someone's being, hard work. And simply the rest of the team will turn around and say, yes, they may be high maintenance, but they're a high maintenance rock star. So let's just treat them like a rock star, and it just calms everybody down to make sure we focus on that. It's an overriding principle that just means that within the culture of the team, you must give exceptional service. One of my observations, again, that I found that entering the business, I found that agents are very, very focused on giving good service to their sellers, which is great. They're the ones who pay us. But last time I looked, to get a transaction, you need a buyer and a seller. And I think a buyer will trust you and pay more for a property if you're giving them good service.
Yeah, very good call. And so do you find that using your Rockstar principle, and so that's really, really putting it towards better service with buyers?
Yep.
That leads to more listings?
I do.
Yeah.
I really do. It means that quite often a buyer hasn't sold. It means that even if that buyer doesn't buy off you, and 2 years later you get the call back. So I often get say, Shane, we've looked around for ages. You are the best team to deal with, so we want you to sell our property. It has given us a lot of momentum in the market, and we do resell a lot of properties that other people have sold them.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been enough focus on buyer work. It's always, that the old school mentality in real estate was chase sellers, buyers will come, but buyers buy properties and then sell them. But it's because it's a bit more of a longer game that people put it to the back.
Yeah.
I think. But in the same sense, like going and cold calling vendors and giving them free appraisals is a long-term process too. So it's not really any different, right?
Correct.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the content. Just quickly, if you're interested in knowing what it might look like for you to own your own real estate business and brand, then that's what me and my team do. We help agents to create, run, and grow their own agency and brand so they can earn higher commissions and set up a better life for themselves. If you're interested in what that might look like, just click the link in the show notes and book a call with me or one of my team members, and we'll find out whether or not this is a good fit for you. Now let's get back to the episode. Apart from growing your team, which was obviously a big part of you going next level, right? And it always is. That's what you got to do. You got to become more than just an agent. You got to be a leader. You got to grow a team. You got to leverage your skills, right? But what are the best, like some of the other things that really have catapulted your success? You've mentioned service. You've mentioned growing the team, but there's got to be a few others that Shane Hicks has up his sleeve.
Well, I think understanding you're a brand. And again, that was very much my background. But and being famous for something. Okay. So the things we decided to be famous for was, well, I say me at the time, but now the whole team are on board that. So it's always we with us. Is firstly that Rockstar service, famous for a suburb of Camp Hill, which was surrounded by kids' school. And the third one was to be famous for auctions. Now, if you go back 12 or 13 years when I started, I would say auctions in Brisbane were very, very low volume. Not very popular. Now, I'm proud to say that Camp Hill is the highest volume auction suburb in Queensland.
Oh, wow.
That's mostly my fault.
Well done.
Because I just looked at the whole process of private treaty sales, of going through and letting the buyer do their building and pest, giving the buyer 3 weeks for finance, all while we're sitting around waiting. I thought, that process is crazy. I'm a very process-driven person.
Yeah.
So of those 76 or however many sales, I would say 74 of those were auctions.
Wow.
And 2 of those were the few that just insist on not.
Okay.
But it's also why the time on market's 21 days, which is exactly our schedule, 3 Saturdays. So I'm going back to answer your question.
Yeah.
Because I can get on an auction track.
I like
tangent.
that. That's fine.
We can cover. So you asked me how we grew the brand. We made sure how we grew the business. We grew the business by making sure we had the brand that stood for something, and it was, as I said, it was the service, suburb, and process of auction.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So 74 out of 76 auctions. Do you feel, right? So not just with the process, that you obviously do the auction process because you feel like you're going to get a better outcome for the seller, both price-wise, time, efficiency, and those sorts of things. Do you think that being more of an auction agent gets you more listing opportunities?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Now let me answer that.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, because I get so where my business comes from today is from the rankings on the online portals, which I just get random calls. The next thing is from people who have been at my auctions. Basically, I do on-site auctions. They come in, I get a call on Monday and they say, Shane, we're at the auction at Smith Street yesterday. I loved it. It was great. Can you come and see me on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, get the call in. And that way, as I'm going in, my presentation, which I do for auction every time, is actually quite easy.
Yeah, it's very...
Because I get to the method, which I always have my list and method, and I go, so there's for sale or for auction, but you know where I'm going to recommend. And they go, yeah, that's why we're here. So now, I would also say, so I get majority of my business comes in because of that, because that's what I have become famous for in my market. And I don't mean famous in a wanky way. I mean famous as in every brand needs to be known for something.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are some times where people don't call me in because they know that I'm going to present auction.
Right.
And I'm prepared to lose that because I would rather be known for something and stand for something and have a business business model that works than be wishy-washy and all over the place.
Yeah.
You don't go to the doctor and ask for advice and get 3 different options.
Yeah.
Really, you want to be told this is what we've got to do. So that's what I do.
No, I love that. I love that you understand that you got to have a brand. You've got to be. I love that you got to be famous for something. People have to know you. There's so many agents out there. Like, what's the difference between this guy and this guy, this lady and this lady? It's that you stand for auction and I'm going to get you the best result in that way. And people see it, they believe it. You might miss out on some who get freaked out by it, who might go to an auction that doesn't sell and doesn't like the whole idea, a bit scared of it, but that's not your customer. Know your customer.
Yep.
It's a big pie, right?
It's a big pie.
And you don't need to please everyone.
Yep.
People used to say to me when I did my funny videos for properties, like, oh, don't you get worried that some people won't sell with you? And I'm like, yeah, some people won't sell with me because they see my videos and they go, oh, that's, that might be funny, but I don't want a video like that for my house because I want a serious one.
That's right.
And I might miss that one.
Yeah.
But, there's so many people who would watch my video and go, I love that style. And they call me because of it, right?
Of course. So
and I'm okay
famous.
with that, right?
You became famous.
I became famous for that.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of business out of it. I did. I got a lot of business out. But I would have lost some. But I'm like, I'll lose 20% who think that their house can't sell without a professional, standard. So you're doing the same thing, and that's really good because you can't be scared. You can't try and please everyone, right?
You can't.
But you have to have a brand that stands for something.
Must be. Otherwise, as you said, why choose you? Why are they going to choose you if you don't stand for anything? If you don't represent anything?
Yeah.
If you're just like a generic person off the street that has 3 different options of how to sell and how to market, and it's all so confusing.
And you're like, which one would you like? And they want you to tell them.
Just tell them.
Yeah.
I say, this is what we're doing. Here's the timetable. Here's the date. And, let's go.
I was going to ask you my next question was what would you say in the living room if someone said, so why should I choose you, Shane? You've probably already answered it in so many ways, but if just for a brief statement, to wrap up everything you've said, if I was sitting across from you, I'm a seller, I don't know you that well, but I saw you on the weekend, invited you over and said, mate, why should I go with you?
Okay, so I'd say that, as you can see, it's not just me. We're a very strong team, very experienced team. If you look at our reviews, what people will say about us is they felt very safe and in control. And look, I can honestly say, based on where your home is and what's going on in the market, there is no one more qualified to sell your home than myself.
Yeah, nice. And you mentioned in your video you love your community, right? Like because you live in Camp Hill, your children went to the school. Do you think that's really important for an agent to knuckle down on a specific area and community?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Look, I think my theory is very much like look, today it's a hot day. You go and stand in the sun, you'll get warm. You take a magnifying glass out there and you'll start a fire.
Yeah.
So if you want to start a fire somewhere, you need to focus. It just helps when you know a lot about the community, when you're seen in the community. And look, I've been lucky enough to live there. Not everybody does, but if you don't, that's okay. You can still go to the coffee shops, and if you take your partner out for the weekend, it's just go to your suburb.
Sure, be seen in your suburb.
Go to that Woolies.
Yeah,
the amount of people that I run into in Woolies. Some days it's
some days it's annoying.
Some days it's annoying, but you can't have the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
So you end up so you're just being seen as part of the community, I think, is very, very important.
So what community initiatives do you do, and what ones do you think work the best?
Yeah. So we've been involved with sporting clubs and schools, basically, the main ones. The local Catholic school that the kids went to, and I've always been involved with. We're the major sponsor of the Fade every year. Villanova College, we're involved with constantly. East Rugby, all those type of things. And then the little kindies come to you for, they want a $250 voucher for this and that. And I'm very, very happy to get involved with those. Hyper local. Very hyper local. Like if I get a request from 2 suburbs away, I just decline and explain that we're already committed. It's just there's no use to a scattergun approach, and everything I do doubles down on suburb. Location.
And just being even more known for what you do in your area.
Yeah.
How much do you spend on all this stuff, and when should an agent start getting into the community?
Yeah. The funny thing, Dan, is I'm not very good with numbers. So if you
like
ask
most real estate
agents.
agents.
That's right. So I'd say I couldn't tell you how much we spend.
No?
Okay.
But when should an agent start getting into this stuff?
I think the community stuff is important to get early, because that's not a massive cost. I mean, we have advertising. We have billboards, and I have social media campaigns and bus stops and stuff like that. I mean, they're all quite expensive, but giving a $250 voucher to the local, dinner voucher to the local kindy, that type of thing. Even if your brothers, sisters, someone you know's kid goes there, just get involved with that early as possible.
Yeah,
I mean, that's first year stuff.
Yeah,
like getting to know people, getting to be seen as part of the community, and I think if you can be seen as part of the community quite quickly, people won't even think you're new. In fact, you never want to tell people you're new if you are new.
Yeah.
You just want to say, yes, I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, but once they see you 5 or 6 times, you're not new anymore.
That's exactly
right. And it doesn't
right.
matter if it was over 2 years or 6 months. If they see you 5 or 6 times, then all of a sudden you're a brand,
the agent.
And you're someone.
Yep.
So last question, what sort of your ongoing marketing, because you're at a stage, you've got a bit of a machine. What's your sort of strict marketing around all your properties and your business?
Yeah.
That you always do.
That we always do. So so from the business point of view, we make sure we've got a good feel on we've got the prime billboard in Camp Hill, and there's not many in the suburbs, as you know. So
has that been really helpful, the billboard?
Well, I believe so.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify.
It is. Yeah. Can I say how many listings? No, but it's part of building the brand.
Yeah.
We had a couple of strategic bus stops. We spend the majority, and then every year, and I've had people say, "Oh, it's old-fashioned, whatever." I still do the fridge calendar.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing is that a lot of the homes I go into, there I am on the fridge. They're the main drops, and then obviously we then do just listed, just sold. Is just all the basic stuff. There's no rocket science there. We do a video on each property, not quite as funny as yours used to be. Although
all right.
we did have a bit of a crack at some funny ones. Well, we thought they were funny, but we do video and everything. We've got a social media company that runs the socials, and I honestly talk about the billboard does its success. We've seen the socials give us paid targeted socials give us probably the biggest boost of anything. And the best bang for the buck. It's a fair commitment we spend with them. Funny is I do know that amount.
Okay, cool. And so you do videos on every property?
Every property without fail.
Cool. So you obviously get the vendors to pay for the video and then put a budget towards getting that out there to the community?
So the vendors pay for the video, we pay for the
how much do you throw behind each video?
Well, it's part of the overall retaining cost. Like I think we spend about $1,700 plus GST a month on socials. So it all gets part of that.
So you split it up between however many properties you've got.
Yeah,
awesome. Okay, what's the best piece of advice you can give to real estate agents?
Okay, make sure you become a brand and become famous for something.
Mate, that's half an hour of absolute beautiful stuff. Everyone listening can learn a lot from Shane Hicks. He's built a great business. He's really leveled himself up. And I think you really, taking that experience from your retail days into real estate has helped you to sort of propel a lot faster than a lot of agents, even though you started later, right? And it's a good testament to say that it's never too late to start.
It's never too late to have a midlife correction.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being here, Shane.
Thanks, Dan. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Get Keen podcast. If today's episode got you thinking about starting your own real estate business and building your own brand, Plum Partners may be able to help. Book a call using the link in the show notes, and let's see if we're the right fit to help you create, run, and grow your own real estate brand. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and follow me on Instagram at Dan_Lee_Plum. Until next time, keep getting keen.